are watching CIOTV by Enterprise IT World, a production of Accent Info Media.
Is it good? Yeah. Okay. Hello and welcome to CIOTV.live and Enterprise IT World Mia. We are at GISEC 2025. This is day one. We are fortunate that our first guest is Walid Natour. He is Manager Engineering Sales at Tenable. As you know, Tenable is a company which is into exposure management. I'm going to ask him about his experience in terms of this geography. Middle East as such is growing very fast in terms of cloud computing. Along with cloud computing, there are growing installation of OT and convergence of IT also. So, Walid, thank you very much for taking time out.
Thank you for your time.
How has been your experience today? Just started. We all just started in GISEC.
So GISEC, it's a flagship event in the region, and it brings multiple vendors together to connect with the customers and listen to their challenges and business and technical requirements. So it's glad to be here again this year as Tenable to speak to the customers and help them explore how they can improve their security posture and eventually reduce business risks.
For this reason, cloud has been the biggest enabler of any success. Along with the cloud, it is not only a simple cloud, it is a multi-cloud, hybrid cloud also. Exposure, chances of exposure is more, the vulnerability more. How a leader in exposure management that's Tenable is dealing with the situation? What is your opinion, views on mitigating the challenges emanating from multi-cloud or cloud situation?
So, well, as you said, cloud security or cloud in general is like an enabler for business nowadays. And we're seeing adoption for cloud at high speed across the entire region. And as you mentioned as well, customers are not adopting just single cloud provider. They are going to adopt multiple cloud providers like AWS or Microsoft Azure or GCP and more. And that brings a lot of challenges to securing the entire infrastructure and enabling the business. One of the main challenges we're seeing in cloud is visibility. When you have multi-cloud accounts and assets spread across those different providers, then visibility is a challenge. You need to understand what you have in this environment in order to secure it. Now, another challenge we're seeing in the cloud is misconfiguration of privileges, because sometimes you see the perimeter in the cloud is completely different than assets on-prem. The perimeter in the cloud is very tied to identities. So we're seeing misconfiguration of identities over privileges, and we're seeing over permissions as well on some sort of resources available in the cloud. And the combination creates a very toxic way of vulnerability and exposure. So visibility, one thing, misconfiguration of privileges, misconfiguration of identities, all together are creating a challenge for the customers. And in order to make sure you have the right security, you need to bring it all together into a unified view. You need to simplify the way you look at cybersecurity in the cloud. You need to simplify how we can secure identities, how we can secure permissions, and how we can provide the practitioners with an easy way to secure their environment. So cloud security at Tenable looks at identities, we look at visibility, we bring it all together, and we help the customer find the best way to remediate those findings in order to improve the security posture of the cloud.
The other thing in the region, we are seeing that there was a lot of OT in security, but these days IT and OT integration is happening for the obvious reason that security from both the sides are becoming, the landscape is becoming very high. So managing both the things in a converged manner is a challenge for the stakeholders, including the CIOs and CISOs. Tenable, how do you see, what's your opinion on this, the strategy that that you're adopting?
Well, OT have been there for a long time and have been adopted by many organizations for a long time. But if you look at the OT from nature perspective, it's designed to do a specific operational function. it has not been designed to be really secure by design. And nowadays, we're seeing a lot of convergence. Now, OT is not anymore like a segmented, separated infrastructure. It's now interconnected with IT, with the enterprise. And when you have this kind of interaction and integration, the weak points that the attackers know will be leveraged. Like if there is a weak point in OT, now they have the opportunity to go lateral movement from OT into IT or vice versa. So again, looking into OT infrastructure is very critical in order to understand what you have in this critical OT infrastructure, understand what kind of assets you have, understand what kind of controllers you have, understand the risk, and then bring it all together into a unified view for the IT or the CISO. Because nowadays, if you look at organizations, CISOs are responsible for the security of the entire organization. They're bringing IT and OT together into one umbrella. And you need to have a unified view, and you need to have to understand the relationships of attacks, where it started, where it can go, where it can reach, and the business impact. So at Tenable, we're bringing all this together into our OT security solution, where we have it integrated with our enterprise IT security solution into a unified view, single dashboard and single kind of reporting for our customers in order to simplify the way they look at security and eventually take actions in a faster way.
So it is for all across vertical markets. It is not restricted to oil and gas or
no,
any
it's
particular.
not restricted because OT and IoT is now everywhere.
Okay.
Wherever you go, you find OT. If you go now to a building where you have all these elevators in Dubai with the tall high-rise buildings, they have OT. If you go to a factory that does medical equipment, it has OT. If you go to any factory in the region, it has OT as part of it. This is how it runs. So it's everywhere, and now it's becoming more interconnected with other kind of networks that is exposing it more. This is why we're seeing more customers giving more attention to secure the entire landscape, because it's now becoming wider landscape for the attackers looking into OT and IT, and eventually the impact on business is high if any of these gets exploited.
Thanks, Walid, for taking us through the entire solutions you have and the advice that you are making for the industry. Today, at GISEC, you are already there. You can see this, thriving community here. How are you present here? What are the solutions that you are showcasing, and how is it different this year compared to the previous years?
Well, great question. So as you have mentioned before, we spoke about cloud, we spoke about assets in different kind of technologies on-prem and in the cloud. We spoke about OT and IT. Now, organizations need to have a unified strategy to secure their attack surface. And in order to do that, you need to have some sort of a modern way to do it. You need to have an exposure management strategy that will help you bring all these cybersecurity practices together, unify visibility across multiple attack surfaces, irrespective of its type. It can be an OT, can be on-prem, can be a container, can be a web application. It can be also an identity. So we bring it all together into this platform, which we call exposure management. It's an AI-powered platform that brings all this information. Why it's important that we bring all this information and we apply some sort of AI on it is to actually create and understand the relationships of attack. Like, for example, if you have an attack happening on a public storage available on the internet and it has excessive permissions, what kind of attack will happen and how the path will be going into the destined asset, right? We need to understand the attack path of all the entire assets and understand the relationship between them. So exposure management is actually where you can bring processes standardized together along with technologies unified together in order to provide unified visibility and provide with the customer with a single place where they can see inventory of the entire assets, understand the relationship of the entire assets, and understand the risk of the entire organization. This will help accelerate reducing risk and eventually improving the impact on business. Yeah.
So that's the platformization which is evolved these days. Almost, every company is talking about platformization approach to the cybersecurity.
Yeah, because you know what? most of the organizations are going initially or traditionally, they have some sort of different kind of tools for different kind of technologies. So you would have a tool for OT, you would have another tool for IT, and another tool for looking on identity and web applications. If you continue looking at these products separately, the amount of data that you get out of it is humongous.
Yeah.
So you need to bring it all together into a single platform when you understand relationships, where you understand the impact of a weak asset and the weak identity linked together and the impact on the business. This is the importance of the platform. It brings all these together, unify the way we look at cybersecurity, and eventually give the practitioners and the board and the CISOs and the executives the right information of how secure we are as an organization. Yeah.
Thank you, Walid, for taking time out and giving your insights into the entire journey of cybersecurity and exposure management.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
Pleasure
your time.
meeting with you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.